Hi, my name is Courtney Thomas, and today I will be presenting my app, Fashion Lingo. My persona is Corey, a 32-year-old full-time freelance fashion journalist and part-time instructor for a local college in Charleston, South Carolina. Corey travels the world attending fashion shows and events, teaches an online journalism class, and aspires to launch an online fashion magazine in the next year. Needless to say, she's a busy, busy girl, but she wouldn't change it for the world. While Corey greatly enjoys traveling around the world on her own terms and getting paid to do it, it's not without its challenges. She has a super busy schedule, juggling article deadlines, teaching her students, and setting up her online fashion magazine. Corey finds that she often struggles with time management and self discipline. She also finds that constantly crossing over time zones and being able to set her own hours is not easy to do, and often finds herself rushing to meet deadlines. As a part of Corey's job as a fashion journalist, she has to be able to stay current with the latest fashion terminology and report the ever changing fashion trends and faux pas in the language understood by the fashion world. So, Corey needs an app that travels along with her many travels, keeps her attention by offering quick and easy ways to study and test her knowledge, and is adaptable and customizable to the constant changing nature of the fashion world. So having access to flashcards and quizzes and being able to search for words and definitions as well as add words and definitions to the app is vital. So for the wireframing phase, I outlined how the user would navigate the app, focusing on locating the word of the day, adding a new word and definition, and utilizing the flashcard and quiz options. Next, I sketched out an initial prototype for this app, and as you can see, drawing is not one of my strong suits. I just used some old paper I had laying around, a pencil, and my imagination. These particular sketches just show, once again, the most important features of the app. The word of the day, flashcards for memorization, quizzes to test your knowledge, the ability to add a word and definition, and finally, a search feature. This feature allows you to search for a word that may already exist in the app, as well as locate a definition for a word that you are unsure of. The next step in the process was to put my app to the test with people like Corey who may also have a need for this type of app. The 5 things I focused on were the sign-up process, locating the last 7 words of the day, taking and completing a quiz, using the search feature to look up a word and definition, and add words and definitions to the app. During the sign-up process, it was obvious that users were confused about how to get off the main screen. They were unsure of what to move forward as there was no explicit instruction. At the end of the sign-up process, I also found that users had difficulty determining whether their information had been saved and once again, how to move to the next screen. To fix these 2 issues, I added a click button to the main screen that would allow users clear understanding of how to move forward. And at the end of the sign-up process, I added a welcome screen which would show the user that their information had been saved, and also added a click button so once again users would know how to move forward to the next screen. The welcome screen will also serve double duty for users who have already signed up and are just signing in. I thought it was a nice touch to personalize the app for each individual user. The test users also had difficulty locating the flashcard, quiz, and add a word features of the app. This was because these individual features were all listed under another feature called the word bank. Users did not understand or see any sort of obvious instruction that they would find these 3 features under the word bank feature. So based on user suggestion, I removed the word bank feature from the home screen and replaced it with the flashcard, quiz, and add a word features. Making this small change simplified the number of steps the user was required to take, as well as provided a clearer and obvious path to the main functions of the app. I also decluttered the screen by removing the redundant and undesignated buttons from the bottom row. Users reported that the Home button was an unnecessary option on the home screen. And they also determined that the undesignated button, which was just a placeholder for future iterations of the app, was both distracting and misleading. Several users would attempt to click on the app, unclear of where it would take them, but were ultimately disappointed to discover that this was an inactive button. I did, however, leave the search button because this is a very important feature of the app. Lastly, I clarified that the button icon in the top left corner was the settings button. This is also an important option to have in your app, and spelling it out clarified for the users where they could find this information. Additionally, I found that my users were disappointed at the limited functionality of the prototype app. While this is a normal reaction at the beginning of an app process, I thought it would be a good idea to go in and add additional screens that would show a more detailed functionality of the app. So using the quiz as an example, the initial prototype only had a single screen displaying what a quiz page on the app would look like. The updates added additional screens that would show users examples of the questions that they will be asked, the method in which they will be able to answer them, and how they could either confirm or quit the quiz at any time. I also added a screen that serves as a celebration and encourages the user at the end of the quiz. My takeaways from this process are as follows. 1. Always be open to constructive criticism. Allowing others to test your app will often expose some of the simplest yet most important and effective aspects required for a successful app. 2. People like clear and distinct instructions and do not enjoy having to guess what they're supposed to do next. 3. Be sure to keep your screen simple and uncluttered. Do not have unnecessary buttons and options just to fill up the space. And 4, having neat and legible sketches is very important to the process. So if you're like me and you do not draw well, use a ruler. My next steps are to continue adding additional screens that demonstrate the functionality, features, and capabilities of the app, and to continue to conduct more usability testing as the app progresses. For an updated version of my prototype, please check out my PDF. Thank you for your time and attention. I'll see you on the runway.